Sorry? Yes, it is. No. That you can fix. We had to move the table back because it's needed the space. Actually trying to find the file. Oh, this is yours. I think everybody's back ready.
Much appreciated.
Oh darn. Hi. Yes, I am. Okay, sorry about that.
You know what I'm so is this screen there at all? Is this on? No. I need to stop extend this one.
I guess this program will show it like that.
But I don't want it to be. I want that here back on the screen.
No, we don't want to duplicate it. I mean, she wants that to see what's coming next. Go on.
Toastmasters are going to move ahead quickly, and our host for this session, Christian Smith, will come forward and do her thing. Help me to welcome her.
Hello everyone, I hope you're feeling all refreshed. Our second session is teamwork, ordinary people achieving extraordinary results. Teamwork is important in our daily lives, would you agree? Think about it, even the organs in our body simultaneously work together to carry out their individual roles to achieve a result. Teamwork is important if we are to surpass our expectations and become successful. Our presenter today does not necessarily like the pomp and circumstance that accolades to her. However, she can't hide from it. She has been a Toastmaster for a very long time. She is currently a member of the Nova Post Speakers Toastmasters Club, where I also reside. She has served in many posts at the district level and is currently the Marketing Communications Manager at the Jamaica Tourist Board. She has also lectured at several tertiary institutions. She has stated that teamwork is essential if we are to coexist peacefully. I also agree. Please help me invite distinguished Toastmaster Essie Gardner to the lectern.
Fellow Toastmasters, how are you today? Come again? All right. My presentation is going to be interactive. If you don't speak to me, I won't be speaking. So for us to get through this thing easily, let me tell you now, when I ask a question, it's not because I want you to be silent, it's because I want the answer. I want to tell you about two clubs. You're new to an area. There's Club Blue. Members attend meetings regularly. There's good participation from members. When the meeting ends, people don't want to leave. They gather and they chat for a while. And in the last 3 years, they have been distinguished or better consistently. Does that remind you of your club?
Yes.
One of them. Then there's Club Red. They do have a number of members, but the same 10 or so members are all. In the morning you get a call. Boy, I can't wait, something come up and I have to go. Life happens, we know. But there's a thing called planning and commitment. Or better yet, your meeting begins at 6:30. And at 6 o'clock, when you've sent out
6:25.
you've sent out your agenda, and you hear, Corinne, I can't come again enough. Well, let me pick on Nikita. Mr. Jarrett just tell me that I need to do so and so. It happens. We want people who are reliable. That doesn't mean that there are not going to be accidents or there are not going to be situations, but how you deal with it is going to be important. You want people who are motivated. And motivation is not a common trait. There's a young man who works for me, works for the board, and I've yet to see him get excited about anything. A young man, young man, and we're sending off a group of students to Nice tomorrow morning, and his job was to organize the students going. This morning, by accident, I called him and I said, Shanari, is the team ready to go? Yes, Miss G. They have their tickets? Yes. They have their per diem? Per diem?
Okay.
Per diem? Are they to get per diem? At which point I kind of had to take a step back. And I said to him, have you looked at the files for last year's project? Well, yes, he looked at some of the material. Yeah, well. So I said to him, I suggest that you go speak to, and I called another name, said, I suggest you go speak to that person, find out what you need to do, because those 3 persons are not leaving Jamaica without money. I'm the kind of person who's going to put you on the right path. So I told him to go to somebody who I knew would know how to jump on it. And so by the end of the day, we were able to get the per diem. One of the things I know I have said to the person who helped him and to him is that come next Tuesday, we need to have a conversation, a heart-to-heart. I'm not going to do it tomorrow or Friday because it's a little too close for me to deal with it right now. So I'm going to deal with it. He will not lose his dignity. Let me get that clear. He will not lose his dignity, but he will know that this is not to happen again. But you're looking for people who are, and you know, part of the problem this morning when I got so upset, I'm sorry. When I said, Shanari is the have you sorted out thing? Per diem? I let you get per diem? Well, I didn't know, so I didn't do anything. I mean, it's not a matter of, oh dear, I forgot. How can I get it done? There was absolutely no enthusiasm at all. Very nonchalant, laid back. No man, it can't work. He's part of the marketing team. Hardworking. We know that life happens. We know that all of us are busy. All of us have different demands on our time. Those who are recently married, or those who are recent parents, or those who have been promoted. We have demands on our time. But if you commit to be part of a team, you have to understand that there's some choices that you have to make. And hard work is part of that choice. And of course, there's intelligence. And intelligence doesn't mean having a PhD. It simply means being able to think critically about the situation and find creative solutions. And all of these can be found in Toastmasters International's Leadership Excellence series. So this assumes that you are able to handpick the people you want to be part of your team. What if you inherit a team? What if you inherit a team? What are some of the challenges that you might find?
Square pegs in round holes.
Sorry, say that again?
Square pegs
In round holes. If you inherit a team, you want to assess the skills you do have. And in Toastmasters, as you go up the ladder, you'll find that you're going to inherit teams. A division governor does not always have a choice in his or her area directors. A division director, sorry, does not always have a choice in his or her area directors. And area directors don't have a choice in the club presidents. But you have to work with the team that you've inherited. So you want to assess the skills you do have. Remember that we are all at different levels of commitment. I know, without a shadow of a doubt, that I'm a Toastmaster, I'm a communicator at heart, I'm a Toastmaster, and I'm going to encourage everybody to do their best as Toastmasters. And there's some people who say that once you give a goal to Essie, you know, she's going to make sure that you meet those goals. But I also know that different people will work at different levels. So it's for me as a team leader to look at, your name is not recorded, Carleen, to look at Carleen, talk with Carleen, get to know Carleen. Notice, get to know Carleen. So I know what her strengths and weaknesses are. I know what makes her tick. I know how to motivate her to get the job done. You need to assess what skills you have, assess the personalities, so that you can work with that person, that personality, to get the best that that person can offer at this time. One Toastmaster said to me at one point, I wanted her to be getting her competent communicator designation. And I kept calling, I kept pushing. And she said to me, Essie, I know you mean me well, but I'm not at your level of commitment yet. I had to stop, find out what was making her not do the program, find out what was the challenge that she was facing so that I could help her there. And in helping her there, I was also helping her to get to the point where she could present. You have to learn to assess your team, know the personalities, know what makes them tick, know how you can motivate them. You also have to reassess your goals vis-a-vis the skills available. So if initially, as the club president, you said, oh yes, we're going to get 10 points this year. That is our goal, 10 points, which is wrong. The goal should really be to get our members to the next level, because members are the most important part of the Toastmasters hierarchy. So you determine that you're going to go for 10 goals, but you realize that your members are not at the point where they are ready to get 10 goals. Do you get frustrated and move on to somewhere else? No. Look at your team. Look at what it is that they need to do. It may be there's a particular Toastmaster. When I first met him, I wasn't sure that he was ever going to become a competent communicator because he had some language issues. And he wasn't at that time looking at how to improve his skills in the THs, the Hs, the INGs. And I realized that I erred in determining that he was not going to make it. But that individual determined, we sat down and he asked, what do I need to do? Other than doing the projects in the book, what do I need to do? I knew that he, at that point, I was going to change the goal, not so much for the CC, but to help him to become a more confident speaker. So that when I hear him speak now, and I hear the THs, and I hear the Hs, feels good. Still not as a competent communicator, but that's all right. He has achieved a personal goal. You spoke about that. So the goals may have to be reassessed based on who's part of your team and what they want to work on, what your goals can be. That's something that, as a leader, you need to do. And you have to invest in team building exercises. Earlier I spoke about knowing your people, knowing what makes them tick. What kind of team building exercises can you do? I'm going to ask now for 2 volunteers. May I have 2 volunteers, please? Excellent. Come forward. And because I didn't have to fight too hard to get these volunteers, these are your gifts. May I have a paper? May I have a sheet of paper? Here? Okay. So what I want you to do, I want one of you to give instructions to the other. Who's going to give the instructions? You'll give the instructions. I have here 2 sheets of paper. I'm giving each person, nothing is on them. Nikita, you go over there and turn it back this way. And what I want you to do is make a design with this paper. And at the same time, give instructions to Nikita to make the same design. I want you to be taking notes.
So we're going to design a small notebook. It will be half the size of what we were presented with.
Half which way? Horizontal.
Excuse me, hello. She is giving instructions.
Okay, so the half on the short side. And then I would like you to fold that front area diagonally from the top. So you have what looks like a square with about 2 inches below. So the top. Have that? Having done that, let's turn that lower 2-inch section upwards. You have that? And then we're going to take the outer section of that lower part and turn it down diagonally so you have a little piece sticking below.
All right. We will stop right here for now. Please give them a hand. Thank you very much, Nikita. And tell me your name, please. Hope, right, Hope, right. This is what Nikita did. This is what Pope was instructing her to do. What went wrong?
Improper instructions.
Based on your question,
Improper instructions.
right, it was incomplete instruction.
Incomplete instructions. What could we have done? Yes, Donna.
It was also a technical instruction, so she needed a particular skill, mathematical skill.
Now, I didn't tell her what to do, you know. She could have simply said, fold the paper in two on the, if the paper is 8.5 by 11, fold the paper on the 8.5 side, so it is now X by Y. So, how we give instructions is absolutely key. Because when you think that you are telling somebody to turn something diagonally, she didn't turn it diagonally, but her diagonal is a different kind of diagonal. So that you have 2 inches at the bottom. My girl. There's also, what was also clear, and in real life you probably would be able to ask questions for clarification, which is where the open communication comes in. So when she says, fold the paper in 2, she could have said what direction. In fact, at one point I was almost sure that Nikita was going to do this. So in real life, we do ask for clarification, and sometimes we do not. We forget to ask for the clarification. So your president says to the vice president education, I'd like us to develop a mentoring program and use all the people who are over 2 years in the club to mentor the others. And the vice president education flips away and does mentoring program. But what are you mentoring for? How do you want the mentoring program to work? Can one mentor have more than one protege? Seek clarifications when you get your instructions. So we're saying that there are many of these kinds of team building skills available. There are generally 4 types of team building skills. You have those that talk about instructions, giving instructions or communication. You have those that are about building trust. You have those that are about planning. And you have those planning, building trust. What is this word? Decision making. Decision making. So the fact is, there are lots of these team building skills, and you can bring them into your meetings. 5 minutes before you have your executive meeting, just say, team, let us do something. I saw Shanari do something the other day with a group where he was trying to build vulnerability, to show them that people needed to be able to trust and to be vulnerable. And he asked them to do 3 things. Is 3 things?
Or 4.
Or 4. And he began, and he opened up, and I knew that people were a little uncomfortable, but they did it, and they learned a lot about each other. You have to be prepared to learn the good, the bad, and the ugly. If you are a team leader, you have to be able to do it, and do it non-judgmentally. What about virtual teams? The division currently has a division director in the Cayman Islands, and a lot of her team is here in Jamaica, and she has a part of her team in Turks and Caicos. Are there challenges to that kind of leadership? Some of our area directors, Rosella, where are your clubs? In Kingston? All in Kingston. But there are, I think, Colleen has clubs in Montego Bay and Ocho Rios and Port Antonio?
No, Clarendon and Manchester.
Okay. So how are you going to build an effective team with people in different parts of the island? The principles are the same. And this kind of team lacks the informal bonding opportunities that may exist for a club team, because you don't see each other as frequently. You have to probably do a lot of things online. So, but you have to get creative to learn about these people. You have to plan activities that will get people together and enjoy their company. The team leader has to work harder with a virtual team. And it is important that the team leader recognizes this and sets out to do just that. Is it easy to build trust on a virtual team? No? Why? Why isn't it so easy to build trust? Yes, Nikita.
I think a big part of building trust is certainly when you can see the persons and you have it. It's easier for you to have physical evidence that you're doing something. On a virtual team, it's a lot harder. You have to kind of just take your word for it. Unless you see a document or something tangible, you're not necessarily convinced that you're doing what you're supposed to do.
All right. Donna, you have a comment?
The flip side of that is that when you have a virtual team, you don't get to check up as much. And the person tends to produce because a lot rides on the person on the other side rather than being there and then calling on somebody else to help. So it does allow itself to.
So what it means is that the team leader and the team members need to agree on how the checks and balances are going to happen. You have to set that up early so that when you are checking, they don't feel, why are you looking over my shoulder? Because you would have agreed that this is how we are going to check that things are happening. I want to do something about trust. Yes?
Regarding trust and virtual teams, I think for most virtual teams, for a person to be given a task so that you aren't able to actually directly looking over them, the fact that they've got that task in the first place means that there has to be some form of trust there initially. So it's a case where for virtual teams, I believe virtual teams sometimes, most of the times for me, they work better because they have been given this role and they within themselves, the fact that they've got that role, that means they know and they actually have given they put themselves in that position knowing that they're going to give.
If they are the committed team member.
But they have to be committed in back.
No, let me tell you a real life situation. I manage a team in US, in Canada, India, UK, and China. Marketing teams. And let me tell you, what I do for India and China doubles what I do for the others. It's not that they're incompetent, but especially the Indian team. You have a half-hour meeting, and the same thing you say at the beginning, you have to be saying at the end, because it's a different kind of cultural situation. And it's not that I don't trust them, but when one person writes to me and says, I have a journalist who wishes to come to cover X. And when the person gets here, I trust her to send me to do the due diligence and to send me a real journalist. And when the person comes here, the person has never written an article. And this is not a casting aspersions at the Indians, don't get me wrong. Yes, persons get a team, you inherit a team, and you have to learn to work with them. Virtual teams are difficult, can be difficult. It partly is on the part of the leader to make sure that you try and develop trust, but also the team leaders have to be committed. If they are not committed, we are going to have problems. I started to say that I'd like to do an activity with trust. And I'm going to ask for 2 volunteers again. May I have 2 volunteers, please? That's irrelevant.
Run, Cardi, run.
Motivation. You don't wear hats? I'll give you a pen. I'll give you a pen. Now, I want one of you to be blindfolded. Who is going to be blindfolded? Who is going to be? What does that say? She wants.
I think Cardi should be the one.
But it's a trust fall.
Can you see?
No.
You sure?
Yep.
I need some help. I need somebody else to help me.
Where's Kristen?
Okay, you're going to stand here for a minute. Yes? I need,
Run through that, run through.
I am making an obstacle course, Jeffrey. And I'm going to take your, going to walk backwards. You're going to stand right here. Cardine, you're going to instruct him how to get from where he is over there without hitting the chairs. And you have to trust her that she has your interest at heart.
With your right foot, can you take a medium step forward, please? Okay, great. Take another step, the same measurement. Alright, great. Can you turn to your left? Okay, great. Stop. The same measurement, take one step forward. Okay, great. Same measurement, take one step to your left, please. Awesome. Now divide that measurement in half and take another step to your left, please. Awesome. Now, is there now? Okay. For the first measurement, step, take a diagonal step to your left, please. The Jamaica flag is the yellow. The gold. Now, the first measurement, take a step to your left, please. You remember? Awesome. The same measurement, take a step to your front, please, or the center. That's kind of halfway. Okay, awesome. Now turn to your center. And you can turn to your left center. So yes, your left. Slowly. Stop. Great. Now. Okay. Now take 2 steps forward. The same first measurement, please. 1. Take another. Awesome. Stop. Now, just as the gold on the Jamaican flag, take a diagonal step to your left, please. The same first measurement. Diagonal to your left. Yes, that's it, correct. Awesome. Now take 2 steps to your front, the same measurement. Forward, the same measurement. 1 more. Okay, awesome.
Yes. Yes, you can take that off. You can wear a scarf. Thank you. Jeffrey had to trust Cordine that her directions were going to take him in the right place, right? At one point I said, this is not diagonal. But he did what he needed to do. You have to do some of these things to try and build trust. You have to be willing to let yourself fall if necessary. When I asked Jeffrey to come forward, he says, well, he thought I was going to probably tell him to fall backwards so that someone could catch him. We have to be willing to fall sometimes for the benefit of the team. Moving on. We want to look now at goal setting. Okay, back up. Back up one. Yes. Okay, so we want to talk about goal setting. Remember I said that when you are forming a team, your goals, you should get your members to be part of that effort, correct? Yes. Right. So the first thing I want to encourage is that you make it a group effort. Yes, you're going to come with some ideas as a team leader. You're going to come with some ideas as to what it is that where you want your team to be going. But be prepared to get ideas from your team members. When you're doing your goal setting, include a team vision. Include a vision. Let them create this vision so they can internalize it. Why are they here? A team of salespeople, they sell drinks for a popular drink company. One of the salesmen went to a particular store where he would normally sell, and he and the shopkeeper had a tussle because he wanted to get rid of his soon-to-be expired drinks, and the shopkeeper did not want any of that. She wanted fresher drinks. And so it became a problem. And when the supervisor spoke with him and asked him, what happened? He said, well, you see, we're coming up to a holiday time, so I know that the drink's going to sell quick, so she won't have to keep it. And the supervisor said to him, what is your role? Is it to sell drinks or to get rid of close to expired drinks? To sell drinks. What happens if the ones that are not, that are expired, what happens to the ones that are expired? And the person said, well, the company disposes of them in an appropriate manner. So why do you want the lady to buy it? It's not costing you anything. The lady will be able to be at peace. If your role is to sell drinks, then focus on selling drinks, not on getting rid of dated drinks. Let them internalize why it is that they're here, what is their role in the whole big picture. Break down the goals so each member can own his or her contribution. So yes, for the club team, the vice president membership has the role of maintaining membership and building members. That doesn't mean that he or she cannot contribute to something else, but that goal is his or hers. The vice president public relations has the business of letting members know about the club, but also the wider community. Not that they cannot contribute to the membership building team, but focus has to be on public relations. Break down the goals so each member of your team can own his or her contribution. As team leaders, we have to empower the people around us. So you establish a culture of respect. Respect is important. If I do not believe that my boss respects me, it's going to be difficult for me to give up my best. The same thing happens to our club teams. You have to demonstrate respect. And you have to ask yourself, how do I show respect to my team members? How do I show respect? You focus less on individual accomplishments, so it's not that I am going to get my DTM while you are still at CC. I tell you a story. There was a president of a particular club, and if you know the club, don't say it. There's a particular president, and we were trying to build that, work with that club. And the individual, when we were talking about the challenges that the club is facing, his response was, well, I'm in a business with them, you know. Me no may get my advanced communicator grants. If them no one get for them, tough. That cannot be the president. That cannot be the president's role. You have to focus less on individual accomplishment and more on the achievement of everybody together. You assign roles and responsibilities with accountability. Is your role to get 8 new members? By when? And if you don't get them, what are we going to do? Doesn't mean that you're going to fire them. Doesn't mean that. As a leader, you find ways to motivate your team members to achieve their goals. Agree on the process of monitoring progress. I mentioned that with the virtual team. And feedback, 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 always important. Corinne, I didn't like how you treated Rosella the last time she presented at Communicators of Hope. I felt that if you had treated her differently, the club would have more respect for her. And perhaps she would be more welcome when next she goes to the club. You also sometimes say, provide feedback. And Rosella, of course, is going to say, Corinne, you just said this me. We can't go anywhere with you again. We're not going anywhere with you again because you're this man. I'm the area director, and if the clubs don't respect me because of what you said. You understand? Feedback is necessary. And practice what Toastmasters International speaks. Now, my time on this says that I'm at 30 minutes, but I see you're red. Okay. Dealing with conflicts, I'm going to go through very quickly. Conflicts emerge when members have different views on their roles and responsibilities. It also arises when people are unable to put aside their personal prejudices. The recommendation is to deal with conflict immediately. Do not allow it to fester. So yes, I have determined that come Tuesday morning we're going to deal with the conflict in my office. Not going to let it fester. Because we have to build people at the same time. And if we allow it to fester, we might think it was okay and do it again. Be preemptive. Agree on guidelines before the conflict arises. So think, what kinds of conflict can arise in this situation? How are we going to deal with it? Again, I talk about building team trust, clear communication, and you have to deal with being vulnerable. Understand too that there must be an out for your people. There are persons who I said, when you were younger and you're playing and you feel that somebody hit you a little too hard, don't you say cry cree? Yes. You must find a way for persons to cry cree. So if you're having a discussion and it becomes heated, you don't want people to lose their dignity. So allow persons a way out. Can we deal with this? Give me a moment to just settle. Can we deal with this at next time? That must be part of your how you deal with matters. So you create ground rules early, explore the parameters of acceptable and unacceptable behavior. So for example, determine early. You should aim to respond to all emails within 24 hours, even if it's just to acknowledge it. Or in our team, nobody blind copies anybody else. If you're going to send something, if you have to copy somebody, just make it copy, not blind copy, because it can cause problems. So you establish your ground rules. Encourage all members to share opinions without fear of criticism. And discuss issues, not personalities. So I don't care if the person big and fat. If they can function, then they will function. And determine a system of objective rewards. The rewards must be such that anybody can achieve those rewards. Must be slighted to anybody in particular. I also want to talk about spending time together on matters not related to the goal. So for us, an afternoon at Devon House having ice cream is a good bonding activity. Something, just do something that's different from what relates to your goal. And share. Share ownership, share authority. All of us have different skills, and today I might have the authority in making a particular decision, but tomorrow somebody else may take that authority. And it is something that you do to build capacity within your team. A leader's role is changing. Initially, you want to be involved in forming and close supervision. That's a leader's role. Initially, forming the group and close supervision. Then you get to the point where you're a problem solver and facilitator. You get to another point where you are the coach. And then you get to the point where you are relaxed, you're monitoring, you're tracking team performance, and you are recognizing achievement. The role of a leader is not easy, but it is achievable. We have to want to do it, we have to commit to doing it, and we have to be willing to help our teams get to the next level. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer.
Could you go back to this?
Yes? I can send you my source. I can give Shanari something with the sources so you can circle. Another question? Thank you very much. I hope that you found this useful.
We want to thank SA for giving us such a broad knowledge on teamwork and leadership and how to go about it in our respective clubs. I'll now ask you to fill out the evaluation forms, the back of the evaluation forms that you filled out earlier for the first presenter. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Kristen. Let's have a round of applause for our presenters. The wrap up will be very quick. Okay. I think we did a good job personally, but it's up to you to really tell us if we did. If you think we did a good job, you can let us know. And let it show in your evaluation forms, and definitely suggestions on things that you want to see us do in the future, topics that you want to see. We're here to help you get the best that you can out of the Toastmasters program. There's a team that put all of this together, and I'm going to ask them to stand where they are. So I see, and knock on the door and tell the people outside to come and stand at the door. So Kristen, Corinne, see Nicole, and Carly was drafted today. Stand. There's Brian standing. Rashima, who went and made signs for her team and never made any for the rest of us. Sasha Lee, Jessica. Is this everybody? Supposed to be 1, 2, 3. Somebody missed it. Marsha. Oh, you're waiting for me to say your name. Sorry, Marsha. Okay. So the and then Elise. Elise left? Alright, cool, no problem. So these people worked very hard behind the scenes to help me put it together, so give them a round of applause. And that ends our program. Please travel home safely and leave the evaluation forms. Throw the stuff that you have in the garbage. Help us to tidy up as best as possible. Thank you very much for attending. The turnout was marvelous and I loved the interaction. This is postscript. On this day, Trailblazers normally meets, and anybody who knows Trailblazers knows that Trailblazers meets every Wednesday, unless it's Christmas Trailblazers it's meeting. And they actually agreed, they're the first person contacted, but they actually agreed to not have a meeting today so that we could have the TLI. I just want to say to the members of Trailblazers, you can express it to your club members. Thank you, we appreciate it. Now we are the 100 evaluations.
No, I want detailed comments. Thank you.
I think we did.
Especially on what I can work on.
Sir, what? I feel so, I probably should evaluate you guys, I kind of feel so good at
Report?
Sorry?
Yes, the report, you want to?
Okay, thank you.
Or you want the report?
It's okay, I'll take it. You want to keep it?
I thought you did reports. But you
You know,
don't.
leave it because it's important. It is actually essential.
He's going to put it in 5:30.
No, it's not going to, I'm actually going to review it and use it to respond better. Because there are areas where we lost time at school.
And things that wasn't done. But it was good.
For the people on YouTube, we're signing off.